Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series Saturday special. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't put one out this week on Monday, so I thought I'd put one out the weekend instead, just to make up for it. Sounding a little bit like your high school girlfriend there, but anyway, I've got some ladder action, a ladder match coming your way this afternoon, chaps. Get it together, Gyle. And it's going to take place on Roanoke's Abyss. So let's get the hell out of here and go over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So Roanoke's Abyss, love this map, hate to play it, absolute nightmare when you get this in ladder. You think this game is going to go on forever, unless of course you are me and you realize it's not. It's interesting that it's still not the uniform phantom adjusted map. You see from some very strange mass augmentation on this bottom island down here compared to a lot of the others. Some of these have very strange little hillocks that aren't even, which reduces building space even more. I suppose it's not essential for the ladder match, but it does seem strange when you have a pretty much a uniform map that's been made by the community not to use that one for ladder. But hey, who am I to judge? Let's take a look at the players and their starting locations. Up here in the 12 o'clock position in the red corner, it's none other than Deja-vu. Seen him before, I'm sure. Little pun there. And he's going Cybrin, opening first air. Interesting. Going to be getting that penalty, of course, to engineer roll-off times, but expecting to see perhaps some early bomb harass, maybe. Or maybe an early jester to shut down expanding engineers on these other islands. But let's take a look at his opponent down here. 6 o'clock position in the blue corner. Also going Cybrin, so it's a Cybrin mirror matchup. It's BC's Tiep, the Setton's monster. And he's opening first land, second air. So slightly more conventional opening there from him. I'm really interested to see what's going to come out of this factory, though. It's all engineers. See, to me, that is not the most efficient starting point at all. Only go for that air factory if you're Cybrin, if you're definitely going for some outrageous early airplay, and I mean super early. He should have air units out by now, otherwise he's might as well have just gone land factory first, and he'd be getting these engineers off the conveyor belt quicker, which would allow him to expand quicker. Personally, I think that's a slight error. He may have meant to go land first anyway. It does get confusing every now and again with all of the different potential build orders. I certainly build the wrong factory myself every now and again. It happens. We're only human after all. So Tiep not committing too heavily to the airplay initially. Yes, he's got that one air factory. He is producing interceptors from it. Queued up one naval factory as well, and he's already starting to work on that, whereas Deja-vu has queued up 2 naval factories. Not yet going to work on it. I think he will be about to, though. ACU making its way over there. It's going to be building that with him. But in the meantime, as he approaches that, BCTF already completes construction of his naval yard and gets straight to work on a sylph, potentially a sylph that will be used to deny any navy if you can get it up there quickly enough. Meanwhile, a drop out from Deja-vu going to the side island to the left hand side of him. Drops just the one engineer, but a couple of mantis and a mole, concerned about potential aggression coming across. You see, I don't think that's a good play. He should be more concerned. I think Sky Slammers would be more useful there if he's going to send a little vanguard for this engineer. Anything that's going to be able to get to him in the meantime is probably going to be air units. Look at me being hypercritical already of Deja-vu's play when he could beat me with one hand tied behind his back, his eyes shut, in a darkened room with no monitors attached to his computer. But anyway, a drop out here from Tiep. There is an Inti circling from Deja-vu. Luckily, there's an escorting interceptor for Tiep that's going to go after him. I'm pretty sure that little skyhook's going to make the drop in time. Yes, it does. And no protective land units for Tiep with that little detail either. Just 4 units of build capacity that's going to allow him to build up and expand nicely. Successful drop over here as well for Deja-vu. 2 engineers make landfall again with their merry band of Mantis. I suppose it does guard against any potential land drops. But look at this. we've got BC's Tiep, his ACU on the move to his left-hand island over here. And don't forget, there's tons of mass to be had on this map in the form of reclaim. You've got all of these reclaimable rocks, a ton of trees, although of course they yield mostly power and not a great deal of mass at all. And two slivers meet each other in the middle and promptly destroy each other. No advantage gained there as yet. Both these guys have 2 naval yards apiece at the 7.5 minute mark. Taking a look at who's doing better on expansion and eco. 52 mass to 46 at current standing. A little bit of flexibility there. Both these guys bottlenecking power pretty hard though, so those aren't exactly reliable little bits of intel there as yet. Who's doing better on reclaim? 2600 banked for Tiep. 2800 to Deja-vu, so not a great deal in it at all. Very much anyone's game. Another little drop from Deja-vu coming down the eastern side of the map. Where is it heading is the question. We haven't actually got a marker for him. The marker's probably somewhere around here. Don't know where it's going as yet, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. Interceptors hovering over Deja-vu's left-hand island there. And more inties out for Deja-vu, hovering over Tiep's eastern island. And could it be going just to the bottom right-hand corner? Could we get some sneaky rear naval yard construction going on? There it goes. There it doesn't go. It's hovering there for the moment. There's nothing but Mantis and a mole on board. We're using it to pick off one of these side islands, but a little bit of naval play now in the middle. Deja-vu loses a couple of subs to Tiep, who has a much stronger force on the ocean at the moment, at least certainly around here. Deja-vu's mounting a small sub-army in the middle, but still that little Mantis group just sitting down there. Deja-vu obviously waiting for an opening to use it somewhere, and he's putting another one out down the bottom left-hand corner as well for a bit of simultaneous attack. I do like what I see. That shows inventive play. And another one. Unreal. It's going to have to be something pretty exciting. It's taking up, or it will be taking up, quite a chunk of Deja-vu's CPM, his attention, organizing all of these drops. Could he potentially be going for some large drop onto the main island? It's going to be tough, of course. Mantis not going to be able to drop in the ocean, so if it gets discovered by interceptors, that will be it. Meanwhile, it looks like he's about to get scuppered in the middle. PC Tiep discovers this little group of naval yards being thrown together in the center and says, no, you will not be allowed to construct naval yards in the middle like that. That would make life far too easy for you. A single solitary trident having some pretty good success at the northeastern island here for Tiep. It's brushed aside 3 mexes already. Meanwhile, Deja-vu skirting the fringes of Tiep's naval yards. Tiep already has T2 Navy in place, a Siren on the field. He's going to want to get some Barracudas or Salems in play, though, to deal with all of these slivers that have suddenly turned up. But at least some of the transports are on the move. He's going to have another problem to be concerned about. He's also got Wagner's T2 land, amphibious land, that's turned up on his southwestern island. But in come the Mantis. There they go. And how much damage can they cause? Right next to a whole chunk of build capacity, busy working on the T2 power grid. That's going to be a real pain for Tiep, hampering his expansion a great deal. But that Barracuda turns up in timely fashion, helps him deal with some of those slivers causing him a great deal of problems, but yet more units incoming, coupled with a couple of Medusas, which will really help him dish out the pain on some of these buildings. And this is very nice, sneaky play. But the Siren gets recalled, and he's going to be able to deal with these now without losing everything on his main base, I think. Also got a Salem that's completed up here. It sprouts legs and goes a-walking for a clearer shot on these Mantis. But he's lost a lot of build capacity, that's for sure. Meanwhile, he's having some success up here. A Salem and a bunch of T1 Navy harassing Deja-vu's northwestern island there. Also now got T2 Navy in play for Deja-vu, who's made the transition. Yet more drops incoming, but only one of them successful. Combination of interceptors and the cruiser parked just off the coast there, making life incredibly difficult for those transports trying to get in. We've also got some Wagners about to make an emergence. Tiep's going to want to keep that Siren close to hand. Thankfully for him, they're all partially damaged already. Huge amounts of alpha damage. Doesn't want to lose that T2 mechs. Manages to hold on to it. 400 hit points of the 3,000. Nicely done there. More Wagners turning up on the main island, but Tiep is ready for them. Has thrown together some auto guns. And this is what I mean about Roanoke's Island. There's no real need for these hills. But I guess it makes the game a little bit more interesting. Don't always have to have fully symmetrical maps. But look at this, and this is the T2 land HQ for Deja-vu that he's about to lose, so that's a little bit annoying for him. I'm not sure he's committed to T2 land anywhere else, so it's not like he's gonna... Yes, he has actually over here. And he's going to lose the ability to produce T2 units when that HQ goes down. There it goes. Is astonishingly still building, though. That's interesting. So it finishes the unit it was on. If that unit is started, it doesn't cancel production of that unit. It just means that you're not able to produce any more. You can see the second one, or the next one in line, doesn't start. But we've got T2 air in play for... Deja-vu. Has quite a lot of Corsairs and some Renegades over here as well, but he needs to be careful. Tiep having the advantage on the high seas at the moment. Well, actually, I don't know about that. I've spoken too soon. Barracudas incoming. Tiep very much concerned about the amount of stuff flooding this way. And these Corsairs should be able to deal with this fleet. That Salem needs to be a priority target, though. Nice little bit of micro avoids some of the fire for Tiep, but there's just too many Corsairs for him to be able to deal with. That's going to succumb to the fire, and those Tridents are going to be next. Outrageous amounts of scout planes. Deja-vu can see everything as long as it's in a straight line going that way, but then he performs the sweep. It's about the most comprehensive way to get intel that you can possibly muster without several T3 Omnis dotted around the map. But once again, Wagner's making an emergence on Tiep's island. He's under an incredible amount of pressure, Tiep, and in come the Renegades. There's not a great deal of air defense running at the moment for Tiep. What the Renegades are doing in the meantime, I do not know. They're reassigned over here to assault the power grid. The shield collapses. And yet again, Tiep is denied the ability to get any kind of T2 power in place. He doesn't want to hang about here. It's tempting because of all the build capacity sitting around that T2 naval HQ, but the Siren is shredding those Renegades. He would have done better to hang around back here and continue to work on Tiep's T1 power. Look at the amount of stuff coming south from Deja-vu. He's lost a couple of mass points here and here. You can tell the route that Tiep's ships have taken. But this sudden emergence of airplay keeping Tiep on his toes, taking him literally off guard. But look at the amount of tracers that have been thrown together on this island from Tiep. Corsairs might get a few passes, 1 or 2 passes, but they certainly don't finish off everything on this island. Wagner's turning up, but eating some auto gunfire. Yet more Wagner's turning up as well. To the back of Tiep's base once again. He has managed to get one T2 P-Gen in place and a second one online as well. And things not going too well at the moment for Tiep, except on Eco. He's keeping up nicely. Deja-vu not teching up his Eco at a consistent rate. Tiep actually ahead, despite looking like he's generally quite down on map control. Got a couple of naval yards over there for Deja-vu, who's looking to just sprawl in this one, it would seem. Take a look at what the view is like from Tiep's perspective. That's not a great look. There's harassment coming in on all angles. But the mass count is even. That is what's important. Got a lot of build capacity around that T2 HQ. He's working very heavily on power at the moment. You can see he's way behind Deja-vu on the power stake still. 2.1k to 4k. Suddenly jumped there for Deja-vu. Deja-vu switching up to torpedo bombers. Wants to keep a handle on the naval side of things. And he's actually going straight for T3. We've only had a handful of Barracudas emerge for Deja-vu in this one so far. He's not going to spend a long time at T2. He's going to go straight for T3. And that could be really interesting. We start getting some galaxies emerging. It's actually quite cool, that T3 model, that T3 Cybran HQ. One thing it needs is transition work. All of these factories need to evolve slightly better like they do in basic FA. But Deja-vu going straight for a galaxy there. As soon as that's completed, he could do with a lot more build capacity on it, though. That's not going to get completed particularly quickly. And now the HQ gets caught once again. This time it's on a middle central island. Renegades come in, try and put some pressure on that siren, but it's not enough. Too much anti-air coming off those cruisers for those renegades to deal with. Renegades once again dispatched, though, from Deja-vu to harass Tiep's Eco. He can take down some of these P-Gens again. He'll be in good shape, but he runs out of gunships. And Tiep says enough is enough. I'm going to build a ton of tracers. Try that again, Sunshine, and you'll be sorry. While over here, some mild success for Deja-vu, taking down a siren there. But look at this, Tiep's fleet now bombarding northeasterly island for Deja-vu. It's got a T2 air factory in place there. It's not the HQ, but it has been his gunship production facility. I think he stands to lose that island, to be honest. Deja-vu not got anything in the area to counter that. Tiep not looking like he's making a play to capture it yet. However, Deja-vu has landed down here. He's got a land factory on the corner. If he can start spamming Medusas, which he's doing, he should be able to brush aside any point defense. So these guys matching each other play for play, with the exception of the fact that Tiep is pulling away in the eco side of things. 110 to 81. That's quite a significant advantage. 27,000 mass banked so far for Tiep in terms of reclaim. 13,500 in terms of Deja-vu. Once again, seeing that advantage going to the defender there. Yep, just hovering with these 4 T2 vessels over here. They can get in. They can cause major damage. That galaxy, however, nearly complete. They're going to want to mob that as best they can. He's got quite a few T2 vessels down here, though. And suddenly, Deja-vu looks very, very thin on Navy. Perhaps that move to T3 Navy was a mistake. He should have got this naval factory up to T2. He should have committed more build capacity to it. Because Cyber Navy is very strong at T2 still. And now Tiep is pushing north. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 T2 vessels and a Flood T3 sonar platform. That galaxy is completed. What will he be able to do with it? Corsairs circling above has managed to take down both of those cruisers actually with the Corsairs, which is nice to see. Not easy to do. And there goes the final Salem, as well. A few engineers creeping across back to that northeastern island there for Deja-vu. Wants to re-establish himself as quickly as possible. Sonar beacon homing in on those signatures there. Forget, it's not a passive sonar beacon. Oh, sorry, it is, of course. It's a Cybran one, I do forget. Some of the others pack pretty strong torpedo defense. But now this galaxy coming under fire from a whole horde of T2 vessels. Brushes aside a cruiser there. And Deja-vu wisely switching up, starting to produce some Barracudas now. Going to need access to more subs. Galaxy down into the red, just 10,000 hit points. Still on the run. But Corsairs added to the pile. Might be enough. It's not. Just not quite enough to keep that battleship alive. Handful of Corsairs left. Should be enough to finish off those vessels, but there's just a steady stream of T2 Navy heading north now for Tiep. They can kill off this T3 Naval Factory HQ. Deja-vu will be in a pretty pickle indeed. One saving grace at the moment for Deja-vu is that Tiep is building, seemingly at the moment, even numbers of Salems and Sirens. If he starts to focus more heavily on destroyers, it's going to make him really tough to repel. But I guess the amount that Deja-vu has been using T2 fighter bombers in this is going to make him reluctant to do so. And once again, Deja-vu doing just enough on the naval side of things to hold Tiep at bay. But in terms of map control, it's quite astonishing. This island's been brushed aside down here for Deja-vu. He's also got himself re-established up here in the northeastern island. He's re-establishing himself over here in the northwest, but he's still well behind Tiep in eco, who's been sitting quite comfortably on these two islands, teching up his mass extractors. He's got a T31 in there. Everything else is T2. How are we looking over here? A couple of T3, or at least one T3 there. Another T3 on the way. And that's giving him all the resources he needs at the moment to harass Deja-vu. This is quite a dangerous period for our red Cybran player here. Needs to get his eco back on top. Needs to get enough build capacity as well around these naval yards. Salem's out front. for Tiep. And suddenly, interceptors providing decent cover for Tiep gives him a nice bit of air protection in the sky, which has been the one thing he's been lacking in this game. Corsairs come back in as well, going straight after the Salems, but not going to get a second pass. Does manage to pick off one of them, but down goes the T3 Naval Factory headquarters, and suddenly this looks spectacularly bad for Deja-vu, who just didn't commit enough to the naval play in this one, and now is running the risk of having his base torn apart at range by these destroyers and cruisers sitting off his coast. Shield gens unupgraded, providing very little cover indeed. Deja-vu surely having critical power problems now, well into the red, minus 2,000 net. Map control means nothing if you can't keep up with the eco, which he hasn't managed to do. That's the right play from Tiep, though. Literally, he's disregarded everything else. He hasn't got bogged down in trying to retake these islands. He realized he didn't need to. He just went straight in for the kill. And that has cost Deja-vu the game, which is quite amazing. You think how the game looked 10-15 minutes ago, game time, maybe more than that, 20 minutes ago. Deja-vu was dropping relentlessly on Tiep's main base. Took out all of his power a couple of times. But now Deja-vu's mass income, coupled with the power troubles he's having, drops to just 4 mass per tick. He's not going to be able to do anything with that. That is going to be game. His ACU's way out here. He's been building a Monkey Lord, and it's nearly done. Just 5,000-6,000 hit points away from completion, but his eco's so badly shot now, I don't think that's going to stand any chance of getting completed. I know it's only 5,000 HP, but that 5,000 might as well be 50,000 from where he stands at the moment. You can see how slowly those HP, those hit points are ticking up. It's almost like he's building a Mavor. The two T2 naval factories destructed in the end. Control K there from Deja-vu, and he actually quits out. He knows there's no way he's going to get that online. So incredibly close to getting that in play. Nice attempt from Deja-vu, but very well played from Tiep. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. That's enough from me for this week. See you again hopefully on Monday. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle signing out.